if your mind's running circles again, second guessing every word you said, take a breath, reset your track. You don't need to hold yourself back. Stop overthinking, start connecting. Confidence rising.
I don't know about you, but I never get tired of the jingle. When I'm not playing the jingle, I wish I was playing the jingle. When I'm not humming the jingle, I wish I was humming the jingle. So, welcome to another episode of Confidence Maxing Live. It's good to see you. Hopefully, it is good to see me as well. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, if you ever watched Pinky and the Brain back in the 90s, the same thing we talk about every day, lately at least. We're going to be talking about some Spencer Pratt stuff in a little bit, but we're going to start off with mental prisons. Mental prisons, which if you're in one, you don't want to be in one. You want to be out of one. And so we're going to cover that story first. All right, here we go. So I came across this one a few days ago. This is shared by Anthony Garone, and he has a post saying, you know, if you want to be more successful, you need to stop using self-limiting language to talk about yourself, because if you do, you've created a mental prison. And what I really like is it appears as if he created a helpful graphic for, well, let's get this where you can see it, a helpful graphic for different types of, call this negative self-talk, call it mental prison talk, where, you know, if it's comparative and you're comparing yourself to someone else, I'm just not as whatever as this other person, or this person's so much better at, and you know, one of the ones I'll just tell you from my experience working with clients, and I wrote about this in the best-selling book Confidence Maxing, which is sweeping the nation. I wrote about this in chapter 5 when I talk about dealing with your inner jerk. And what do I title this? You can treat yourself like a friend. And that's really important if you're trying to do anything, right? Like you may be trying to improve your communication skills. Great. You might be trying to do something else. You have to be on your own team. And if you're not on your own team, that's going to be a big problem. And so at this point, I've seen, well, I'll put it to you this way. When I'm working with a client and they, you know, we get to the point where we're talking about the inner jerk and, you know, that inner narrative that is not saying good things to ourselves. I'm getting to the point now where I'm just not surprised at any new permutation of the inner jerk. And what I'll point out too is, I think one thing that was a little surprising was like this outlandish category where it says, I suck, I should just quit, I'm the worst. Not everyone's inner jerk is that way, but it's kind of surprising how just really kind of ruthless and mean people's inner jerks can be. And I was a little surprised that some people's inner jerks were that harsh. And as you might imagine, it's not good. It's not helpful. I'll give you the same tip I give my clients when we get to this point. How do you identify if what you're saying to yourself is inner jerk kind of stuff, or if it's just, you know, because some people have really high standards for themselves, which is good, and their inner monologue is something akin to a drill sergeant. How do you tell the difference, right? So if you wouldn't allow someone else to say the thing that you're saying to yourself, that's a clue. It's a clue that you might be constructing a mental prison. And like most structures, you know, I'm imagining concrete bricks laying in my mind. A mental prison it isn't constructed by just plopping the prison down. It's constructed brick by brick. And so I'll even go so far as to say that these phrases are not good, and it's not something you should be saying to yourself. But I'll take it a step further and say that the construction of the mental prison is repeating these phrases to yourself over a lengthy period of time. And that becomes a problem. Because as we've talked about before, like if you keep showing yourself instances of your own perceived incompetence over and over, and you're not trying to improve and build skills and all that kind of good stuff, guess what? You're going to end up feeling incompetent. And if you feel incompetent, you cannot be confident. It is impossible. Those two things are mutually exclusive. So the lesson for you there is do not build mental prisons for yourself. It's not good. It's not helpful. All right. So I'm going to guide you through a couple of different things here. Talking about Spencer Pratt, and one of the unique things of my experience is simply, and I'll preface this with, this could just be like confirmation bias, right? The narrative that I'm about to weave for you, it may not be accurate. So I want you to hold that in your mind. But also it might be accurate. And certainly it being accurate is a little bit more fun. So I'm going to reveal to you how I think I may be injecting sort of terms into the LA mayoral race, and as a proxy to Los Angeles to help save it. It's a bold claim. We'll see. We'll see if you agree or if you disagree. So our first stop on this journey is say I posted yesterday, kind of right before dinner. Apparently, the actor Dennis Quaid came out and supported Pratt, and when asked why, Quaid appeared puzzled. Why? What are you talking about? Why? Just look around, man. He laughed. As I've said before, many times, in articles and such, Spencer Pratt is the just look around candidate. Like, just look around. All you got to do is look around, and you'll see. So cut to, like a smash cut, cut to a couple hours later. We see Spencer Pratt posted, "I'm the look around candidate. All you have to do is understand why I'm surging in the polls is to just look around. The city's a mess and our leaders have failed." Now, could be a coincidence, right? Could just be a coincidence. Spencer does follow me, and who knows? He might be watching right now. If you are, that's cool. And it could just be a coincidence, right? But I've talked about Spencer Pratt being the look around candidate a few times, and it's really sticky because I think the mechanics of why it works so well is you sort of uploaded a software patch. We talked about on the live stream last night or yesterday about the concept of spells, which is still just like, to me, the goofiest way to say it, but it's so accurate. But it's like a software update to a person where if they go around and they look at things that they don't like in their city, probably in the broad categories of, homelessness, general disorder, I don't know, things being locked up at the Walgreens, just all the signs of sort of a low trust society and sort of societal decay. Like you could call it the pre-purge, right? Every time someone sees that, if they've come across either, more likely Spencer Pratt's post, less likely mine, and they've seen, oh, just look around. Oh, yeah, look around. And you look around and you see, and then that connects things in your brain so that you're associating, oh, yeah, Spencer Pratt's right. He's right. And so for an average person who's just out and about in LA, there's probably several instances per day, and it'll work strongest if it's out in the real world. But I think it would also work if someone just sees someone post something online. Oh, look around, and it's definitely different when you see a video posted about a place that where you're like, oh, that that's just over there off of this street, or I drive by there all the time, and so that connection's going to be even a little different than just seeing a post about something in a different city. And so again, he's sort of manufacturing the just look around feeling. And so whenever anyone looks around, they see things that they don't like, they'll associate, oh, well, Spencer Pratt's right. And the person who is viewed as right on a topic, and has some ways to fix it, as he has stated in the past, then unopposed. From a mental standpoint, unopposed. Who else is even trying? Who else is even running against him? And so June 1st, Spencer Pratt will feel like he's running unopposed, or it will feel as if Spencer Pratt is running unopposed. So that's one thing. On my live show yesterday morning, I didn't talk about it a ton, but I did mention that like it would probably be good if Spencer Pratt were to keep Karen Bass on the defensive until June 2nd, right? The video of her, allegedly looks like she's potentially committing a misdemeanor by electioneering near a ballot box, flooding the zone of stories to keep her answering the allegations. There's just a really good clip of there's the show Silicon Valley. It's over now. I think it started maybe 10 years ago. And there's the scene where one of the characters is going up to a billionaire at a TechCrunch conference, and he's wanting to divert attention from something else, and so he kind of cuts in when there are a bunch of reporters around, and he's like, I stand with Gavin against these allegations, and then that kind of sucks all the energy out of the thing the billionaire has going on and towards the thing the scrappy startup has going on. So answering to the allegations, and in that same vein, we have a post by Spencer Pratt 10 hours ago where he says, in my 20s, I was on a TV show. When Karen Bass was in her 20s, she was training in terrorist tactics and guerrilla warfare with communists in Cuba, back when the LA Times was still in LA, and used to tell the truth. And if you can't see, because this is like a screenshot of the LA Times from November 28th, 1983. A third plaintiff traveled to Cuba to learn guerrilla warfare. Plaintiff Karen Bass, according to a 1973 intelligence document provided to the Times, quote, traveled to Cuba with the 9th contingent of the, I'll try to say this, Venceremos Brigade. The brigade trains revolutionary prone Americans in terrorist tactics and guerrilla warfare while claiming to harvest sugarcane. Bass, characterized as a brigade leader, returned from Cuba to the USA, bringing back propaganda literature. The document noted without citing the source of the information. You can do a little bit of research on this, but Karen Bass traveled to Cuba something like 8 times. I'm guessing mainly in the 70s. But something like 8 summers in a row, she traveled to Cuba. I don't know what one. I wasn't there, but that sure doesn't look good. And there's even been surfacing of old. So remember, Karen Bass was on a short list to be VP in 2020, maybe even in 2024, and several media outlets called her time in Cuba disqualifying to be VP just because of the questions it would bring up. And so this is, I'll give you my persuasion analysis, is Spencer Pratt's one of the, I guess, slights leveled against him is he was on a reality show, scripted reality show, in his 20s, and that somehow should disqualify him from being able to run for public office. On its face, it doesn't check out. But you gotta love how he's, again, contrast we've talked about before. He's unaccepting of the frame of, like, he's not going to defend his time on reality TV, nor should he, because that's the wrong option. Instead, he's just like, well, in her 20s, guess what? She was training in terrorist tactics and guerrilla warfare with communists in Cuba. And so, as I talked about in the very first article I wrote about Spencer Pratt, that's got almost 200,000 views on X, he's creating I called it the big tent reframe, where he's sort of drawing a big tent around people on the right, people on the left, and he's excluding the socialists and the communists. He's like, I don't care about your vote, don't want your vote. You don't need to vote for me. I don't want you to vote for me. And for people on the left, I know I'm not gesturing correctly here, but for the people on the left side of that, then for those people who do not label themselves socialists or communists, they'll be like, well, I really don't want to be associated with socialists or communists, so I guess that makes it okay to vote for Spencer Pratt. And he's done a really good job of highlighting the nonpartisan nature of the race, giving a lot of on-ramps for people to vote for him. And so, flooding the zone, yes. Keeping Karen Bass defensive, yes. Creating a big tent, yes. All very, very good things. And in the spirit of flooding the zone, like, I'll be honest, like, I don't know when he sleeps. I don't think he does sleep. Maybe he's cloned and there are two of them running around. But the second or the last item is I was on the Scott Adams School. When was that? I think Tuesday. And I said at the end, I said something like, so we were talking about sort of election integrity and all that kind of stuff. And I brought up that behavior changes when people are observed, and it would be good to just have people know that they're being observed, right? And you can read into that what you want. But this tweet by Spencer Pratt here that says, I just love it. I just love it. I just love this so much. Given Karen Bass's recent misdemeanor violation for election law, we need to protect our democracy more than ever. Members of the public may observe polling places and vote centers as election observers or vote center monitors. Monitor to vote. Volunteer to monitor a voting center, and then gives a link. How beautiful is this? It's working at multiple levels. Level 1 is if anyone was planning to do anything nefarious to or with a ballot drop location, might include adding things to the ballot box that shouldn't be added, right? He's activating people to observe, and people's behavior changes when they're observed. He's likely causing a chilling effect to anyone that might have ambitions to add extra ballots to any particular ballot location. He's signaling to his supporters that they can get involved and they can, take an active step in helping him secure victory. There are two other layers. Given Karen Bass's recent misdemeanor violation of election law, the overall frame is like, yes, she committed it, and this is the because why we should be wary of her. It's just so good. It's so good to lead off a post with that. It's so good. We need to protect our democracy more than ever. And so, like we talked about yesterday with the spell casting and how you can't protect from your own spells, he is, and it's kind of a version of pacing and leading, where the kind of the air quote, the protect our democracy crowd will see this and they'll just nod along, like, well, yeah, you got to protect that old democracy, and it won't even pass their sort of territory scan of like, oh, like to someone else it might cause a blip in just in that they see what I see, and they notice like, oh yeah, that's a intentional phrase injected into this post, and so it's working at multiple levels. I think, and again, it could be maybe Spencer's watching this or someone on his team is, and I'll tell you the same thing. I would tell anyone, like, I'm hesitant to give the Pratt campaign any advice because, frankly, I don't particularly think that they need it all that much. I'll just tell you what I observe, and things to double down on is keep flooding the zone. Like flood the zone. I mean, it's just Tuesday. You know, you got the weekend and got Monday. Like keep flooding the zone. And I like this messaging, and I like this idea of, you know, if you can play this up and keep hitting the notes of like like the first sentence is just like goated. It's so good. Keep playing up, given Karen Bass's recent misdemeanor violation of election law, we need to protect our democracy more than ever. Oh man. And so I would keep hitting this message, because it's good practice, right? Like it's just good practice to say, hey, there's going to be a ton of people watching every single polling location. You know, if you know, if it's, and I'm not going to pretend like I know California law, right? Like if the option of having like live streamed cameras at every single polling location is out, you know, because of consent laws, then having people watching every single ballot box, that's helpful. And you know, that's a good thing. That's gonna be a net positive. So I would keep doing stuff like that. And I'm sticking with my prediction. June 1st, day before the election, Monday. It's gonna feel like Spencer Pratt is running unopposed. Heck, I don't know about you, but it feels like he's running unopposed now. Because what you're probably going to see even more of is his opponents. Like he's going from energy monster to gravitational monster, where his opponents are going to keep stealing his campaign talking points and trying to adopt them as their own. But that doesn't work when you're part of the system that's currently in power and then could just fix things, right? You know, there is a just fix it button. I was having this conversation with someone over dinner the other night. There is a just fix it button. You can press it. It's going to involve accepting some unkind truths, and it's necessary. You have to accept reality how it is before you can start to fix things. I mean, if your room is messy, you look around and you don't deny that your room is messy. Because if you deny your room is messy, then there's no reason to clean it up. If you acknowledge, like, oh yeah, this place is terrible, I need to clean it up, you're seeing reality in an accurate way. And Spencer Pratt is the reality candidate. He's as he said, he's the candidate living in reality. Nithya Raman and Karen Bass, or it's kind of been interesting to watch, because as the campaign goes further, you start to see them just tilting towards the sort of the gravitational pull of the Pratt campaign, and adopting some of the talking points of like, well, you know, the streets are really messy, and you know, we do have a homeless problem, and it's just like, you don't get it because you're in the government. You could fix it. Like if Karen, I mean, it's far too late now, but if Karen Bass and Nithya Raman wanted to pull the rug from Spencer Pratt, all they have to do is fix things. Come up with a plan, like start to clean up streets, you know, like, but they don't do that. And I think we probably have a good idea as to why, because it sounds like there's a lot of NGO type money is floating around and being spread around to people. So there's just no incentive to actually fix things. And Spencer Pratt's tapping into a larger sense of, like, I don't talk politics with everyone, right? just because I think I, I think it kind of starts to warp your brain after a while, where you just kind of become a shell of your former self. Um, but with the people I do talk politics with occasionally, um, like there's such a sort of a palpable, in some cases anger, in some cases just disappointment with sort of just the status quo. Could be right, could be left, just the status quo. There's a profound feeling that elected officials aren't holding up their end of the bargain, we'll say. And I think that would be pretty accurate. Like, I think it's been that way for a while. And so when a candidate comes in and he's done a fantastic job of staying in his lane, and really dialed into, hey, these are the issues. I just want people to feel safe. There's no counter to that. There's no counter to that. And message is obviously resonating. And we'll see what happens on Tuesday. It's been exceedingly, it's a serious topic with serious ramifications, right? So like animal abuse and homelessness, drug addiction, safety, right? So all very serious topics. But it has been fun to watch a candidate just come in with complete common sense and just mop the floor, just completely mop the floor. It's great. Like, I mean, it's fantastic. So that is all I got for you today. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with some of what I've laid out? Do you disagree? Do you think he should be doing something different? I'm open to all of it. You can find me on the socials at the Jeff Callahan, and I'll do what the heck. You deserve it. We talked about the inner jerk in mental prisons earlier in today's show. Well, chapter 5, specifically chapter 5 of my book, but the chapter 3, Choose Your Own Reality, that Spencer Pratt was reading the other night, that's a really good one too. And so when you get through like the first part of my book, you'll be released from mental prisons that you maybe didn't even know that you were in. And that will help you develop your communication skills, develop your people skills. Yes, you'll just have a better experience in life. And then you'll go on further in the book and you'll learn how to start conversations, never run out of things to say. You'll tell better stories. You'll even learn how to build relationships and do a little thing I call friendship maxing. So it is in my opinion, and I am completely unbiased in this regard, I think it's the best book ever written on people skills. People call it the new How to Win Friends and Influence People. People call it the Atomic Habits for People Skills. So I hope you check it out. It's on Audible. It's on Amazon. You can read it. You can Kindle it. You can audiobook it. And other than that, I'm going to play you out with the jingle, and then we will talk again tomorrow.
If your mind's running circles again, second guessing every word you said, take a breath, reset your track. You don't need to hold yourself back. Stop overthinking, start connecting.